I knew this day would change things for me. I could already hear that thing. The hallway with the stairwell had been strange since the dog went into the drift. Almost like it's getting bigger. Like it's becoming more a part of the world. Or is the world becoming more like it? It was my first time here without her. I concentrated on my breathing. I was going to find out what was in the drift. It was almost always in the last door on the left. But the hallway that door was in changed every time we went to see it, after the second floor went missing. It didn't feel like falling. It was like being enveloped in warm, dry water, like my bones were stretching. Something pricked my skin and protruded from all over my body. I looked up and saw a window to somewhere else, and that thing came through it. I knew this day would change things for me. The bones in my hands began to itch. The pools here told me the drift had swallowed me, but I had gotten lodged in its throat, and if I offered them things that no longer carried meaning, they would use them as fuel for the great old machine. My aunt would take me to my grandparents' house every Wednesday after school. I would always want them to read to me from a children's book of horror stories. I loved the story about the boy who slowly grew into a giant and squashed his house with his mother and father inside. I didn't understand it was supposed to be frightening. I scratched at the flesh on my hands, but the itch was too deep. The pools told me that the great old machine would make me stronger and smarter, that it would give me power over others who hadn't been through the drift. My grandmother, Ruth, gave me an ornament for Christmas once after her divorce. She died before the new year. She couldn't afford the treatment. My father said, "Goodbye, Dad," when he looked and he thought no one was listening. He seemed angry. Finally, the holes were deep enough to scratch at the bones in my palms. I remember how satisfying it was to rub and scrape deep inside the muscles. Blood from the wounds dripped into the pools. I began to feel dizzy. Once, when my parents were fighting, I hid my report card so that when they asked for it, I could surprise them with how well I'd done. I thought it would make them stop arguing and be happy. I forged their signatures on my grades from then on. That thing didn't seem so strange anymore. There were many of them, and held out something to me. And with my bloody hands, I gripped the idol of productivity I had paid for. The river carried me along. I no longer had to expend effort to progress. I needed to rest, to let my palms heal. She and I were afraid of the drift when we used to go to that old apartment building. I would get as close as I dared to it, so she wouldn't think I was as scared as I was. But she would usually get closer than I would. I suppose we pushed each other into the drift, in a way. We heard strange sounds and saw faint objects we couldn't understand. I thought they might represent something bigger than myself, something bigger than I could ever imagine. It seems so trite now. Nothing here was bigger than I could imagine. I was just thinking too small. Not about the drift. About everything. Thinking this way makes me so tired. I'm so tired all the time. I know why when the dog came back from here, it was less playful. It had so many things to remember, to keep track of. I wondered, if I made it back, would I be able to return to normal? Would I even want to? Everything here was unchanged, but it seemed so much less strange now. Would I be able to return to normal? Would I even want to? Maybe I would go talk to her, see if she made it back all right. I guess this is a letter to my old self. To a ghost.